Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Saturday, August 6th, and I'm continuing the coloring of the Lost Ocean page where I'm putting a drawing on a drawing. And today I'm going to be showing you how to color the anchor and the greenery. All right, so here's the finished piece, just so you can get your reference point for you. Let me tilt you up just a little bit and give you a little more of a perspective here. So we're looking in good shape here, and this is the piece that we're working on. As you recall, I changed up where the anchor was. Excuse me, it was in the left hand corner here. It's in the upper right here, and then we've got the greenery right here. So really the switch was only made with the starfish and the anchor. Okay, so let me get the reference drawing here for you. Well, before I do that, let me show you what pencils you're going to need. Of course, you've got the blender pencil. That's pretty standard. You know, I use that all the time. And so what I'm going to be using today is the Faber-Castell. This is the silver color, and that would be number, let's see if we can get that in focus for you, 251 for the silver. And then I'm going to be using the Faber-Castell, and that color is number 153, which is the cobalt turquoise. And I'm going to be using black, so you don't need the color on that. And just in case you don't have the silver color, you can use the Faber-Castell Cold Gray, and that's the number 230. But I really would highly suggest that you use the silver, because that's going to give you a better shine. All right, so here's what I'm working on. Let me get you my reference drawing on the anchor. There you go. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that back so I can get that nice and close for you. There we go. All right, I'm going to pull you closer, tilt you down, and bring it in a little bit. All right. What I did on the anchor is I went ahead and I wanted to create a grayish blue effect. It's kind of like a steel effect, and I just didn't want to use gray. You know, gray, yeah, it's fine. Let me show you the gray that I just used on this one. And that's all gray with a little purple on the bottom just to add some interesting color. But I wanted to go a little bit different with this, because I just thought it would be a really nice change up for you. So, first color I'm going to use is my turquoise. And let me go ahead and pull you nice and close. And what you want is a nice even coloring. I'm pressing probably about a 1, very light, going in little circles. Getting a nice even fill. Don't go too heavy, because we're going to blend this. Take your time. And again, I'm not pressing hard at all. And remember, on your coloring technique that I've showed you before, is I'm coloring in little circles. because you literally want to confuse the eye so that you don't see any lines in there. Let's see here. Got out on the outside just a little bit, so we're going to take care of that. Use your brush, of course. I hope everybody's day is going well. I have not been watching the Olympics yet. But when I walked through out of my studio, I did see that volleyball was going on. Puerto Rico and the U.S. So we'll see where they are when I get back there. Okay. So I've got my nice light blue, and again, I wanted, a grayish blue color to give a really nice steel, metal steel color effect. So now I'm going to take my blender pencil. It's got a nice sharp point on it, and you know that I always tell you to clean it. Although I knew it was clean because I just sharpened it, but still, that's a really good habit I want you to get into. Alright. So, very lightly, I am working out any inconsistencies in my color. I want a nice, smooth blue. Don't be afraid to go back and forth like I am. See, I see a little line right there. But remember also, that's the pattern of the fish that's making that look a little darker. Be sure to get out to your edges very carefully. That's why you want to sharpen your blender pencil. Getting a nice, really nice, smooth finish here with that blue. Alright, so let's get down here, down to the tip. Don't go too fast or else your pencil goes outside the line and then you have to erase. And I know that you can hear the blending pencil, but I truly am not pressing very hard at all. So don't let the sound that you hear fool you into thinking that I'm pressing hard. I'm not. I'm just pushing now. See how I'm pushing up here? I'm just pushing some of that blue into the tip. There we go. Again, make sure that you get your edges. Alright, I think that's looking really good. Okay. Alright, so now the next color I'm going to use is my silver. Again, that's the Faber-Castell 251. And I'm going to go ahead and sharpen that. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through with my silver, and I'm going to go along the edges. Now, leave a gap in the center of the blue. Again, I'm not pressing hard at all. And when you're coloring, you don't want to hang around in one area too long because you don't want your silver to streak. Okay, want just a nice smooth application. Get right out to the edge, nice and slow. Now obviously when you go down these narrow passages, it's going to be a little more difficult to stay to the edges, but that's okay because your blue is still going to go show through. Staying to the edges with my gray on the outside of the rounded area. And you can see a really nice gray coming in here and adding to that blue. Alright, up and around. Again, I'm staying to my edges. Pressure about a 2 maybe. Round the corners a little bit. See how I'm rounding that? Up the side. Don't let your pencil streak. And see on that point, you can really see where my gray is. See it on the two edges there with the blue down the center. And the reason that you want to have a little thickness of gray is because we still have the black to put on, and that's going to be the edging. And when I edge, I'm going to come in just a little bit, so you want to create like a little gray shelf to edge the black onto, but you don't want to make that shelf so thick that you lose your blue in the center. Okay. And what I'm doing is, again, keeping my gray to the outside, but keeping it thick enough that I can come back with my black pencil and not only line the anchor, but come in a little bit with it. See, you can see that gray coming in really nicely here. And what do I always say? Let your pencil do the work. I'm not pressing hard, as I told you earlier. I'm just building up my color. All right. Let's get that in there. Let's color in here. Again, staying towards the outside. And yes, we're in a narrow channel. Don't worry about it because that blue's showing through nicely, which is the effect that I wanted. Okay. Now I'm going to take my blender pencil after I've cleaned it off and very, very lightly, 0.5 maybe. Just make sure that we've got a nice even take. with that gray. And since I've been working to the right, I wasn't really concerned about smearing pencil, but still, out of habit, I really want you to get into the habit of reaching for your paper towel to rest your hand on. There it is. So I'm coloring in my gray. I'm sorry, I'm blending in my gray. I'm blending in my gray now. Alright, so now I've got a nice gray and blue going. Okay, so now I'm going to finish with the black. And what you want to make sure is that you have a very, very sharp point, because I'm going to edge it first. So please sharpen your black pencil if you haven't done so yet. And what I'm going to do now is on the very edge, I'm going to outline in black. Take your time on this. This is a critical step. And if you lose your point, then go back and sharpen it. In other words, for this step, keep your pencil point very, very sharp. See, I'm just on the edge. Going to give a really nice definition, and you can see now how well that's starting to pop. Stay right on that edge. Make sure your pencil again is sharp. Get your corners, get your tips. Turn your pencil while you're doing this. And I'm going to sharpen. Very, very slowly and carefully. And I'm going to have to turn, so there we go. Now, I don't care if you pull the pencil towards you or away from you as you're outlining, whatever works best for you. If you can obtain accuracy and stay accurate by pulling it towards you, that's fine. Perfect. And again, don't forget to turn your pencil. You want to keep that point sharp. There we go. Very slowly. You can definitely see where I've outlined and where I haven't. Nice sharp point. Turn your pencil every time you lift. Okay. And see, you can tell exactly where I have an outline, which in this case now would be in the upper right hand corner. Alright, so I'm going to outline the top. All right, there. Looking good. Now, here's where you need to be very judicious with your black pencil, because what I'm going to be doing is adding little indents with the black, because what I want to do is have the anchor look like it's worn and rusty. See how that black is doing that by just gently coloring in. But notice I'm leaving my blue and I'm not coming down in a straight line. When I color, I go in just a little bit, come back out, and go up. So that's what we're aiming for. So watch how I do that. First of all, at the very top here, I'm going to start going back and forth in a C shape just on this edge, and I'm going to come into the blue. I'm not pressing very hard, and I'm narrowing down my strokes. In other words, it was longer on the outside, and then as I got into the middle, like really short. See, like teeny, 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 teeny right there. Okay? All right. So see how that's giving it a nice little shade. Same on this side. Longer strokes towards the outside here, and then as I go in towards the blue, I'm going to shorten them up, and I'm lightening the pressure on my pencil. So see how I'm getting a nice little depth here. With that black. And make sure both sides are relatively balanced. Let me zoom in on that for you so you can see. See how I did that? And don't overwork it. All right? Good. I love it. Let me pull back out. Now what I'm going to do, and there's my reference picture, is I'm going to start to come down the side of the anchor very, very lightly. And I'm going to come in just a little bit at various spots. Zoom me in here. So I'm just coming in just a little bit now, very, very lightly. Going to darken that curve. Going to darken this curve a little bit. Okay. Now, because I came in over here, I really don't want to come in over there, otherwise we just fill everything up and it defeats the purpose. So now I'm going to come down a little bit and push in with my black on the right hand side, just working it black very, very lightly, letting it build up. And I'm so sorry, I got you out of view. Okay, so work in with the black here, very, very lightly. Let it build up, because we want to show flaws in the anchor. I just got on the outside a little bit, so we'll get rid of that. There we go. And again, anything that you see on the outside here, I mean, I'll clean that up as well. That way you've got a nice clear visual. Add a little blue there. Okay, so I have black on the right here, so let me come down a little bit, and now I'm going to transfer back over to the left, bring in a little bit. Again, very, very lightly. In fact, I'm going to connect those two. See how I'm connecting that? Okay. Going to round the corner a little bit. Darken it. And I'm going to skip to the bottom here. And I'm going to come in with my black. And remember, that's on top of the gray, which is on top of the blue. Just very lightly, I'm going to sweep my black back and forth until I feel that I've got a nice looking shadow. See, I'm getting a nice little 3D effect. I'm going to hit this on the top. Or rounded effect, I should say. But yeah, see how that's starting to pop? And I'm going to get my bottom of my anchor here. Going to hit the tip a little bit. Going to hit the tip here. Again, not pressing hard. Make sure you keep your tip though, don't accidentally round it off with your pencil. Okay, so I'm going to round that. And this was the area that I was talking about, making sure that you keep your tip and not accidentally round it off. I didn't realize I had gone out of the view. Alright, so now I'm going to round that a little bit. I'm going to be careful about going up because remember I've already darkened this area here. Let me pull out. See, I've got a nice little path going there. Okay. And now I'm going to go to these two round balls. I'm just hitting the ends very lightly, curving my pencil. Same over here to give a nice rounded effect. Don't overwork it. Alright. Now I'm just hitting my black spots. The bottom. And now I'm going to get my blender pencil. Clean it off, of course. Let me pop you up here. And very gently now, just to diffuse the black a little bit. Don't pass over too many times, you'll ruin your effect. Very, very lightly, quick pass over, just to smooth out that black. To give your anchor a worn look. Rusty, dark gray, flaky. Alright, there you go. I'm going to clean up this area a little bit. Now obviously when I'm done, let's see, I'm going to clean off my blender pencil completely, and then I'm going to push that little ragged edge, so clean, and just push on the paper to get rid of that little area here. So in other words, I'm using a clean blender pencil to get rid of that, and then I'll erase. Yeah. Okay. So you've got a distressed looking anchor now, and of course that'll be part of our whole piece. Alright, let me pull out. And let me show you where we are now. As far as the overall view. See? And see, as I said, the reason that I didn't want to do the gray anchor was because I've already done the gray octopus, and it was just too much gray. So that's why I went with the blue, and I think it looks really good. Alright, so now I'm ready to do the plant, and I'm going to get the 3 green colors, just in case I have a focusing problem. The first number I'm using is the light green, which is the number 171. There you go. And that is the, of course, the Faber-Castell, as I just mentioned. Then I have my medium green, which is number 112, which is the leaf green. And my darkest green is going to be 163, which is my emerald green. Alright, so first task at hand is to go ahead and lay down my initial green color. Again, as before, I'm working in my light circles. And I will show you in a moment the look that I'm ultimately going after. Now be careful, because sometimes the plant will trick your eye because you've got the plant and the fish going on here. And so you just need to pay attention to where you are, that you don't accidentally zip off the page here, or zip off the plant, is what I meant. Again, work your circles. And as I've said before, let your pencil do the work as far as the shading of the color. You don't ever want to press down hard. And this plant's going to go a lot faster than the anchor because, you know, the anchor I was working on specific shading and some direction of color that I wanted to show you. The plant I'm working on here is a fluid item, whereas the anchor is stiff and reflects color and light in a certain way. Okay, make sure you get out to the edge there. Actually, that almost looks like didn't quite get out to the edge with my black. I'm going to fix that. Take a second here. Yeah, there we go. Done. Alright, let's get the rest of this plant going. I love these sea green colors. It's just so restful. Keep your point sharp, and of course, every time you pick up your pencil, just turn it a little bit. Okay. Clean off your blender pencil just before you use it. Just a very light going over to make sure that you've gotten all your spots colored. It was so funny when I first started coloring, adult coloring, I would never get to the edges. That was one of my biggest problems. I don't know why that is. Other people have told me they've run into the same thing. Just a weird thing. Alright, so we're now getting the color laid down here. Nice and light. My hand is not dragging on the paper, which is why I don't have my paper towel. There we go. Cool. Alright. And as promised, let me show you the effect I'm going after. And show that side by side. So now I'm going to use my medium color, which is my leaf green. And I'm going to go through and very lightly, do not press it hard at all, one or two. So I'm going to go around the edge of the plant, and again where it narrows down, obviously you can't hit the edge, that's fine. Make sure that you don't get a distinct line around the outside. You are just gently coloring in. And that's why I keep saying let your pencil do the work. Keep your point sharp, working in these small areas. See how nice that's looking now? You can see on the top we're getting some good depth. Look how beautifully that's coming out now. And again, you can see the difference from the top to the bottom, and you can see that I missed this little guy. See, that's where you see this difference. So all your colors really do matter. Sometimes people say, well, why do you bother shading over with colors and shading over again? Well, because you're starting to get your depth and a realism to what you're trying to do. and it keeps it from being flat. All right. That branch is very narrow, so I can't help but cover. But remember, your underlying color defines your next color that you put on top. So it all works for a purpose. In other words, this second color that I'm putting on now, if I had just put that on, it would have been darker, and it would make a difference when I put my third color on. But by having the light color first, and then the second color, this is where we start getting some really neat color play. And see, you can see the difference here to there. Take your time. And as you know, but sometimes people forget this, if I go a little fast for you, if I'm coloring a little fast, pause your video. Don't worry about keeping up with me. I mean, I'll set a pace to try and make sure that you're with me, but sometimes you may hesitate a little bit and fall back. That's okay. Pause your video. Alright, now we've got a good shading going. Now I'm going to grab my third color, which I said was my emerald green. You want a sharp point for this. And now what I'm going to do is, with a very narrow line, outline. So the emerald green is now going on my medium green, which is on top of my light green. And now you're beginning to see the fruit of the labor here. I'm pressing harder as I'm on the outside. That's my outline. And then I'm going to come in just a little bit with the emerald green, but I'm lightening my pressure. Now, if it helps you to just outline first with your emerald green, I'll go ahead and do that with the rest of this. Go ahead, and then I'll go back and pull the color in later. So now I'm just outlining. I'll go back to pull in the emerald green in a second. Stay to the very, very edge. That's going to give you a really neat depth. Oh, that looks great. And I really hope that this, as I've said before, gives you the confidence to work on your other drawings. Again, I'm using a light, a medium, a dark green to accomplish all this, and it works beautifully. Again, stay on your edges. And you can really see where I've edged now and how that makes it pop up. Again, I'm going to stop right here so you can see the difference. See the difference between the two by doing the edging here? See? Don't forget to turn your pencil. And down to the bottom. And I'm going to darken that bottom also, see? Okay. That little guy looks like it needs, there we go. Alright, so now I've outlined with my emerald green. Now what I'm going to do is go back, and I'd start to do this on the top pieces, is I'm going to let my emerald green come in just a little bit. Now again, I am lightening the pressure. It wasn't as dark as my outline, and I'm just going to go through and just bring in a little bit of this emerald green. And just like the anchor, see, I'm right here. If you bring it in this way here, don't do it on the other side because you've already created the effect. When you're in a narrow channel, you want to consider what's going on with you pulling in your color. If it fills up your channel, then you don't really necessarily want to do it on both sides. But do stick to your edges, because see, that light green is still showing through in the middle. Just coming in just a little bit here. Give it a little bit of character. And I'm going to color that base in. Alright, let me get my brush. There we go. Oop, let me hit that top a little more. Yeah. Again, don't go down the middle because we want that lightness to show. Alright, so there now is your green plant. Let me show you the model. Okay. And let me pull out and show you the whole piece. And now we've got all our top pieces done. Our starfish, the plant, the anchor, octopus, the coral, and the shell. So again, you know, it kind of looks like it's sticking out like a sore thumb, but as I've said before, when we go ahead and get those rocks in there, it's going to look really terrific. Let's see. Let's set you down. And just show you that reminder piece. So see how that blends in beautifully? So there's this and that. This and that. One more time. Kind of like an eye exam when the doctor says before or after. So there's there and there. Okay guys, we're done with getting all our pieces in. I'm so excited. We can start with the rocks and then the sand, and then you'll have your finished piece. And again, I tell you that this whole idea of doing this is meant to give you an idea on working with your other pieces and your other drawings. Anything that you look at, especially that has a repetitive pattern like this, that can be something you can draw over. So give that some thought. Start using your imagination as to, what you can draw on top of. See, you can stencil these shapes on top. You can freehand it if you're good at freehanding. All right, so this is ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Thanks for sticking with me. Please be sure to like my video if you like it. And also the important thing is subscribe. Please tell your friends. I always ask you to post my videos on your Facebook. And again, next time we'll be putting in the rocks in the sand. God bless you. Have a great evening.